What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Beginner's Guide to Bossing series. In this episode, I'm going to be showing you guys what I think is a very easy and relatively cheap way to solo tribrid the Dagannoth Kings. Before we go ahead and get into this video, I want to say thank you to my newest patron, Mark Anthony Garcia. Thank you for your support, man. It really means a lot to me that you would give your hard-earned money to me to support my YouTube channel. So thank you once again. I really appreciate it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the guide. The first thing that we are going to talk about is each of the Dagannoth Kings and their weaknesses and how you're going to be fighting them. First things first, there are three Dagannoth Kings: Dagannoth Supreme, Dagannoth Rex, and Dagannoth Prime, and they each represent a combat style on the combat triangle. Supreme is the Ranger, Rex is the Meleeer, and Prime is the Mage. Now the good thing about this boss is it is really old. You can see here on the screen now with their combat stats, the release date was November 7th, 2005. So there are no unique mechanics with these bosses. All you do is pray the combat style, and that is it. Very easy to do. As for their initial combat stats, each Dagannoth King has a combat level of 303 and a hit points level of 255. Now because they do represent the combat triangle, they each have their own weakness related to the combat triangle. Supreme's weakness is melee, Dagannoth Rex's weakness is magic, and Prime's weakness is going to be ranged. Very easy to keep track of, very easy to do. As for the individual combat stats, we're not going to go through all of them. I'm just going to point out some key factors. So starting off with Dagannoth Supreme, you can see that he has a magic level of 255. Now down on the defensive stats, you can see that his magic resistance is 255 and his ranged resistance is 550. So both of these combat styles are absolutely not going to work on Supreme. You're going to want to use melee only. Those defensive stats are +10 to stab, slash, and crush. Moving over to Dagannoth Rex, you can see that he has a defense level of 255, but a magic level of 0. So the 0 magic level allows us to hit him no matter what gear that we are wearing with magic. His magic resistance is non-existent. As for the defensive stats, +255 to stab, slash, and crush, as well as range. So range, melee, not going to work on Rex. Magic is going to be perfect, and it's going to hit very well. Last but not least is going to be Dagannoth Prime, and you can see he has a magic level of 255, but a range level of 0. As for the defensive stats, +255 to stab, slash, and crush, and +255 to magic. So since he is a mage, he is going to have a lot of magic defense, so we're not going to want to range him. +10 to the range defense, so that is going to be our primary combat style against Dagannoth Prime. So if you've never been to the Dagannoth Kings and you want to give it a shot, you are going to need to know how to get here. Well, there's a couple ways that you can get here. Now, for the first way and the easiest way is going to be if you have the Lunar Diplomacy quest completed, you'll have the ability to teleport to Waterbirth Island. That's going to be your fastest method of getting here. It will put you on the island. You're a short run away from the entrance to the cave, and then you have to follow the maze, which I will show you in a minute, to get to the Dagannoth King's lair. As for the second method, if you do have the required construction level, down towards the southern end of Relica, there is a house portal. You can set your house to be in Relica. You can use a house teleport and exit your portal, run to the northwest, and catch the boat, which is located here on this dock, to Waterbirth Island, and then you will be there. Alright, so let's go ahead and get into how to get there part 2. So I am here at the dungeon on Waterbirth Island, and in my inventory you can see that I have my rune throwing axe, my pet rock, and a dose of stamina potion. Obviously you wouldn't be bringing the stamina potion with you. You would hit it at the bank and then run here after whichever way you choose to get here. It'll just save you a little bit on run energy. So I'm going to go ahead and go down into the dungeon, and the way I like to do this, I like to angle my camera so east is pointing towards the due north direction. Alright, so I'm going to come over here to the north side of the chamber. I'm going to drop my pet rock on this side, and then I'm going to stand on this pad over here. It doesn't matter which way you do this, because then the gate will open. So I'm going to continue on towards the east, and I will soon find myself up here at a passage with 3 doors. Now these doors work in a funny way. They have to be taken down for you to enter, and that is where your rune throwing axe will come in handy. So I am now at the door. I'm going to make sure the special attack is on. If you don't turn your special attack on, you are going to be a very unhappy camper because you just made the trip all the way here, and you're only going to knock down one door. So throw it at the middle door. It's going to bounce around, take down all the doors. Go ahead and turn on your magic protect, and you're going to climb down the ladder. You want to go down. So we're going to be in here. Then we're going to head to the east, down the next ladder, over to range prey. I'm going to keep running through here, east again, up this ladder, and then we're going to come here and take a turn to the south. Down the southern ladder, and then here, there's going to be 2 ladders in this room. You're going to want to go past the south ladder and continue all the way to the west ladder. We're going to go down this ladder, magic prayer on this room, and we're going to go into the south ladder here, right across from you. Once again, the south ladder in this room. We're in a room with rock crabs now, and we're going to head towards the the east. Down the eastern ladder, back to protect from range. And this chamber is a little bit long, so we're going to fast forward a little bit. Once we get to the end, we'll take the northern ladder across to the other side to the next northern ladder. And we are in the final room. Protect from melee. All these Dagannoths in here do use melee attack style. And down the final ladder. So now we are in the area that leads up to the Dagannoth Kings, and you'll know you made it if you see some rock lobsters walking around. So from here, you're just going to follow the path all the way around until you see the dungeon icon on the minimap. Well, that's embarrassing. There's no dungeon icon on the minimap. But anyway, so you've made it all the way here. You'll see the ladder here. Now there's 2 options here, a standard King's Ladder and a Slayer King's Ladder. Obviously, the Slayer King's Ladder can only be used while you're on a Slayer task. And over here in this little nook that I am in, you can see a peek crack here. If you look in the crack, open up your chat, it will tell you who is in what cave and if the world is free. So in the standard cave, we have 2 adventurers, and in the Slayer cave, there is 1 adventurer. So we've made it all the way here, and when you're ready, you can go ahead and get your potions going and head down the ladder. So now that we know a little bit about the Dagannoth Kings and how to get there, I'm going to throw a few recommended levels at you guys. Now we are going to be tri-breeding. We're going to be killing all 3 Dagannoth Kings throughout this video, so we're going to have a lot of recommended levels. As for Dagannoth Supreme, you'll be using melee against him, and you will want to have at least level 80 attack, level 80 strength, and level 70 defense. And you're going to want to have level 70 defense for the ability to use Barrow's armor as well as the crystal shield. If you're trying to be on the cheaper side, they do provide pretty good protection. As far as Dagannoth Prime goes, we're going to want to have at least a ranging level of level 75. Level 75 allows you to use the toxic blowpipe, and that is a little bit of a pricey item. You can get away with using a rune crossbow or a crystal bow here, but that does significantly take down your rotation time. So if you can afford the toxic blowpipe, I absolutely suggest that you bring it. As for magic, and this is going to be used for fighting Rex, we are going to want to have a magic level of level 80 or above. And the reason we want to have level 80 is because we will be able to use the Blood Blitz spell. Now the Blood Blitz spell you will be using quite frequently to keep your HP up, and that allows you to not bring as much food and more prayer potions to extend your trip. And last but not least, a recommended prayer level of level 70 for the Piety prayer. Now because you have level 70, you can also use the Eagle Eye prayer, but if you have higher prayer and can use Rigor and Augury, absolutely okay, but at a minimum, I would suggest you have level 70 prayer. Moving further along, we can go ahead and hop into the gear setup. Now, like I said, I'm trying to keep this relatively cheap, but you're going to want to still have some at least medium tier gear here and there for the Dagannoth Kings. It will help you out a lot. It'll keep your rotation times up, and it will keep you going and make your trip a little bit longer. So, in the helmet slot, I have a Helm of Nitznot, and if you do get these on a Slayer task, obviously you will want to be using an imbued Slayer helmet for the bonus to all combat styles. I'll be using a Fire Cape, an Amulet of Fury, but if you only have a Glory, you can take that too. A Rada's Blessing, an Abyssal Whip, and a Ceridome and Blessed D'hide top. Now this one is a little bit expensive, but the Bandos one is pretty cheap, and it will do the same thing. I will be using a Crystal Shield in the shield slot because it gives pretty good defense bonuses, Torag's Legs because it's cheap and once again good defense bonuses, Barrow's Gloves, Dragon Boots, and an Explorer's Ring for that +1 prayer. Moving over into the inventory, you can see I got a lot of different stuff in here and I will explain all of it. So the first 2 items you see there is a Toxic Trident and an Occult Necklace. Now these are going to be used for fighting Rex, and if you can't afford a Toxic Trident, a Trident of the Seas will actually do just fine as well. This is just what I had in my bank, so if you want to be a little cheaper, go with the Trident of the Seas. The Occult Necklace is under 1 mil, and it will increase your magic damage by 10%, so I do recommend having it, but once again, if you're low on cash and you can't afford to bring that, that is okay. Next items you will see is going to be the Toxic Blowpipe and the Ava's Assembler. In the Toxic Blowpipe, I have Adamant Arrows. If you are lower level range, somewhere around 75 to 80, I suggest using Rune. As far as the Assembler goes, if you do not have that, you can use a Ranging Cape or an Ava's Accumulator. That is fine. I'm also bringing a special attack weapon to use on Dagannoth Supreme because he is very weak to all melee styles. I will be using the Crystal Halberd. You can also opt to bring a Dragon Dagger if that's what you have. As far as the potions go, 1 Super Combat, 1 Ranging Potion, 2 Antidote ++s. Now some people do like to bring Sanfew Serums here because they restore prayer potions and they also protect you from poison, but they are very pricey. The Sanfew Serum, each dose only protects you for 6 minutes, which is the equivalent of a super anti-poison. The Antidote ++ lasts 12 minutes, so both of these potions will last me 96 minutes at the Dagannoth Kings. I also have 11 prayer potions, 4 anglerfish for my trip there, tanking and emergencies, and I also have a house teleport to get out. Now the last 3 items. The rune pouch has death, souls, and blood runes in it. Now if you don't have 92 magic, you will only need deaths and blood runes for blood blitz, but I do have 99, so I will be using blood barrage. As far as the pet rock goes, the pet rock, as we covered earlier, is used to help us get into the doors that are sealed. And last but not least, that rune throwing axe for the doors that we have to destroy the supports. One last thing I do want to mention that is not pictured here is in place of the house teleport, you can take 2 Relica teleport tablets, 1 to teleport to your house portal that is located in Relica, and the one that you have remaining, you will be able to revert it back to a house teleport to teleport out of the Dagannoth Kings after your trip has ended. And the last thing that I want to talk about before we get into seeing a kill is the roam range of each of the Dagannoth Kings. Now, on the screen now you can see the Dagannoth King's lair. So within this lair, each Dagannoth King has a specific area where they can attack you and walk up to you and aggro you from around the chamber. So starting off with Rex, now these aren't exactly 100% accurate, but they're pretty close. So in this red area here is where Rex is going to be able to come up to you and aggro you. Moving on to Prime, in the blue area is where you're going to be able to be hit from Prime. If he is within a decent distance of you, he will notice you and start attacking you. And last but not least is going to be Supreme. Now with Supreme, his roam range is somewhat large, so you definitely want to be careful when you're killing Prime of this roam range because he will attack you from a pretty good distance away, and it's really not fun trying to kill Prime while Supreme is pummeling you with ranged attacks. But that is going to do it, guys. Let's go ahead and get into a kill. Now, throughout this rotation of kills, I will be talking you through the kill and explaining to you what exactly I'm doing and why I'm doing it. Alright, so I am here. I'm all ready to go and get started with this Dagannoth King trip. So you can see in my inventory, I have 2 free spaces, which is good. So we can pick up some loot at the start. That was the space of my pet rock and my rune throwing axe. So those are gone. Don't need those anymore. So there's going to be a couple of ways that you can do this. First way, you can go right in. Tank all 3, possibly, just kill Supreme and then start with your rotation. Or you can go up and down the ladder a bunch of times until you get them in a position as to where only Supreme will be attacking you. You can kill Supreme, safe spot Rex, and then protect from magic for Prime. Now, I don't really recommend that you do it that way because it can take a really long time and it's really annoying. What I do is I just go in, I tank what I need to tank. That's why I have the anglerfish, and then I continue on with my trip. So without further ado, let's go ahead, get our prayer back up to 99, and I'm going to go ahead and drink some potions and get ready to get this kill going. So I'm going down here. I'm going to start off with protect from magic because Prime can hit very hard, and look, he is right there. I'm going to go ahead and turn on piety. and I'm just going to go ahead and tank both of these Dagannoth Kings at the same time, just because it is so much easier than actually trying to go up and down and get them all in the right spot. And of course Rex comes in and joins the party, so I'm going to end up tanking all three. Now I can say this, if you do have a lower defense level, I don't really recommend doing this way. You might want to just take the time to go up and down the ladder until you get them all set up right, but I do have 99 defense and I can take some damage and not really worry about it. The hits aren't really that frequent for me. Alright, so Supreme is down. I'm going to go ahead, get my magic gear on. I'm going to run over in this direction towards the east. I am going to stand right here, and then when Rex gets to me, I'm going to click down here on this tile. Now once Rex is here, he's now safe spotted, and there are a few safe spots around this chamber, but this one is my favorite. It helps me keep the rotation going, and what you can see right now is I'm using my blood spells to get my HP back up after taking some of that damage, and luckily for me, I still have one anglerfish left over just in case, and Rex does drop some food pretty often, so that's really not a problem. Rex will drop you some food here and there that you can stock up on, as well as Supreme and Prime. I'm going to go ahead and finish off this Rex kill. Alright, Rex is down. I'm going to go ahead and equip my ranging gear, and I'm going to head over here and start to take on Dagannoth Prime. So Dagannoth Prime is very simple. You're just going to range. Now, like I showed you guys earlier, you are going to want to stay in some relatively safe spots when doing this rotation, because if you don't, well, Supreme can spawn here, wander over, and kill you. Luckily for me, right now, I am in a good area for this, and Supreme will not come over here and get me. He is coming back up right now. So Prime is down, and I can go ahead and put my melee gear back on. I'm going to use my special attacks this time. Potty on, and this is it, guys. This is the rotation. So once you take all three of them down, you can continue on your rotation, switching prayers for whichever one you happen to be fighting at the time. Now, generally speaking, it should be in this order: Supreme, then Rex, then Prime is how you should start. That definitely makes it a lot easier on you. But yeah, guys, that is it. It is easy as that, and I really hope that this guide can point you in the right direction if you're just getting started with the Dagannoth Kings. They are a pretty fun boss, and they can be very rewarding given the right amount of time spent here. The ring drops aren't too bad, 1 in 128 from each boss, so you're killing 3 of them at a time. That should give you a very good chance to get any of these rings. Now, obviously you don't want the Warrior's ring, but you know, it happens. So with that, guys, that is a Dagannoth rotation. I hope you enjoyed. Alright, that is going to do it for the Dagannoth Kings Beginner's Guide to Bossing. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and if you've never done the Dagannoth Kings, I really hope that this can point you in the right direction to actually getting started with the Dagannoth Kings. I hope it can make you a decent amount of money, so maybe you can upgrade your gear to get some better stuff and come back here and make even more bank loot than you probably already are right now. So if you like this video, please leave a thumbs up down below. They really help the video's popularity. If you haven't done so yet, tap that subscribe button on your way out. All of your support means a ton to me. Until next time, guys, take it easy, everybody.